Is movement making you tired when everybody tells you it's supposed to make you more energetic? This stream might be for you. How is everybody doing tonight? Hey, Tammy, welcome to Evidence Through Motion. Please, please, please do me a solid and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share, and please bring a friend. No matter if they are 21 and a new mom, or they are 75 and they are just looking to age in their own home, this channel is for you. I am Heather. For those of you who are new here, I am Heather. I am a certified occupational therapy assistant, a certified lymphedema therapist, and a corrective exercise specialist. But with all that being said, take what I say here as general knowledge, not as advice for you specifically. If you find something here is interesting to you or could work for you, please talk to your own healthcare providers. I am not providing medical advice. That is not my place. Just like on my other channel, I am not a lawyer. Here, I am not a doctor. I am an OTA, but I am not your OTA. This does not replace individualized advice. Just think of me as a friend with some general knowledge. Hello, Not Squid. Does this mean you'll be on time? Yeah. There's 3 adults in my house right now, so it's 3 on 1 with the little, plus Grandpa's in the house, so with Grandpa being in the house, the little is got attention, so mama has some mama time. But with that being said, I like to respect other people in my house's time, and this stream will be about 45 minutes. 249 subs. Jeff would say, "We can be better." Bless his heart. Sorry, Heather, it took 5 minutes for the chat to let me in. It's okay. LOL, an Esquire, but your honor. Oh my goodness. In the description of the video, I do have my link tree, which does have links for one-on-one sessions with me. If you want to ask me a question, but you don't think the chat is appropriate, or you don't want anybody else to know your business, or you think it's a question that you need to show me something, or it's a home safety question and you want to show me around your house, I do have sessions for free where you can set up a one-on-one session through Google Meet where you can ask me those questions and I can give you more specific, tailored to you, without having to air your business or your medical stuff where you don't want it. Because remember what happens when we put our dirty laundry on the internet. Sometimes people get petty and they read that dirty laundry on the internet. So if you don't feel comfortable, completely understandable. Even though those sessions are private, they stay between you and me. It is not a medical record, so we don't have to worry about any of that. But it is just if you want to ask a question and you're like, I need to show her something instead of trying to describe it in an email, feel free. The link is in my link tree to set up a one-on-one session. With that being said, let's get into tonight. So this is going to be part 2 of our burnout recovery. Recovering from the holidays, too much, too fast, everything going on. And then January, it's like you just feel burned out. Part 1, we talked about burnout is not laziness. It's not anything. It's not a lack of motivation. It is your nervous system and your energy problem. Recovery came before movement. So now we are going to get into movement. If your body doesn't feel safe, that is if your body doesn't feel safe with your nervous system and you're in fight or flight mode, no habit is going to stick. So you could do all the New Year's resolutions that you want to. If you're in this constant state of anxiety or fight or flight mode and your nervous system is always on edge, no habit's going to stick. So now that we've talked about stabilizing your nervous system, calming things down, how to recover, habit stacking, I did link that video of part 1 in the description, so you can go back and watch it. This is part 2. It's movement. But, but, this is where we have to be careful because this is where most people make burnout worse. How many times in January do we see people in the gym wanting to lose weight, wanting to get in shape, which is great. Not going to fault anybody for having a goal like that. I have a goal of losing 41 pounds before my 41st birthday. Whether I'll get there or not, still working on it. However, this is where most people can make burnout worse. Movement during burnout is not about your intensity, your calories, or even your discipline level. It's about choosing movement that supports your nervous system and doesn't stress it further. So, with that being said, comparing it back to the New Year's resolution, when people are burned out and all of a sudden they try to go full speed ahead, going for distance, calories, you're in the gym every day, you're already burned out. That is just going to make your burnout worse. So, last week you were discussing positive energy. My ensues once positivity starts for me. I've 90 negative things going on. Yeah. And that's the thing. I'm beyond burned out. I'm cremated. Well, I hope not. Hope not. And hey, Andrea, how are you? Squid Pringles, like that can cause negative effect, especially if, let's say, you gain a pound. Yes. Yes. And this is not a weight loss, like people commenting in my shorts or my movement minutes. Lose weight. Loose, not lose. And it's like, it's not about, yes, I want to lose weight. And yes, I know I'm not the picture of skinny. However, for a lot of people, it's not about the weight loss. It's about the fact that a lot of people don't move at all on a daily basis. I like to move. I love to work out. However, I like to eat. That's a whole nother problem in itself. And that's where, you know, we're not getting to that. But when people make negative comments like that, it's my petty side starts to kick in and I start to go from professional Heather to squid Heather. We all know how that goes. But also, it's not about losing weight in the sense of like, oh, I need to lose this weight to feel better about myself, or I need to lose weight for this or for that. It's about I need to work out and I need to move for my joint health. I need to move for my balance so I don't fall. Because if I fall and I injure myself, I might become a burden to my family who has to take care of me. It's about being able to stay independent with dressing. This is where my OTA side comes in. It's not about how you look in the mirror necessarily. It is about how you function and how you feel internally. And there has been science that says moving is good for the mental health. So if you're having a kind of a rough time, mental health is not a replacement for a psychiatrist in that kind of situation, but it is an addition to a healthy lifestyle that can impact how you feel. Yes, celebrate the small victories. Do not beat yourself up when you have a setback. Yes. A lot of the times, um, so with the movement and the burnout, it's not about the calories, it's not about the weight, and a lot of people want to make it about weight because yes, as a society, we are kind of chunky. Yes, movement is difficult for me after my stroke, plus I have to worry about osteoporosis. Yeah, and that's definitely where tailoring things to specific people. And Devil Fan, you and I will discuss that more. Thank you for being my guinea pig as far as the you know what I'm talking about. um, as far as the computer setup and the Google Meet stuff. But um, if you're feeling burned out, trying to go and run, let's not start with trying to run a marathon. Let's start with taking a walk to the end of the block. That low intensity movement is not less effective. It's often more effective because you can do it without feeling so exhausted. People talk about that runner's high. Well, it takes a little bit to get there. And if you aren't there, you just feel exhausted. And if you're already burned out, you're going to feel more exhausted. Gentle walking, mobility work, that could be sitting on the floor and doing 90-90s with your hips. That could even be sitting at your desk and doing, oh my God, my upper back is so sore from yesterday that, like, this right here just feels great. Gentle mobility. We're not trying to stretch like gymnasts. We're not Simone Biles. We're not going to the Olympics. We're just trying to stay flexible. Easy cycling if you have a bike. Gentle walking on a treadmill. If you have a rowing machine, I have a rowing machine in my garage. It was bought for me for my first Mother's Day. Gentle rowing. We're not trying to row like we're going to the CrossFit games here. We're just trying to get full body movement. Yes. Hey, Haida. Yes. I appreciate everybody that is here. Um, so if it feels like effort instead of relief, it might be too much. Was that movement for your back or your shoulders? My upper back and my shoulders. So basically, I put my hands together like that, and I just round my shoulders forward and put my head down. It's, oh, do you like your rowing machine? Yeah, I have a Concept 2 rower. It's kind of the, like, gold standard for I do CrossFit. I am that, I am in that CrossFit cult. It's kind of the gold standard for CrossFit. I love it. Um, I have a phone holder on mine, so I put a game or something on, and I do my thing. Uh, or a lot of the times I do little things like, I'll row 250 meters and then I'll, do 5 push-ups or something like that. I mix it in. I don't just row, 1,000 meters or something like that. Although my gym has air assault bikes, which is like the fan bike. I would rather row 1,000 meters on a bike, or I'd rather row a marathon on a bike, which is like 42,000 meters, than do 10 calories on an assault bike. Just a, preference for me. However, I love my rower. I don't know what I would do without my rower. Um, it's great. It is great. It was purchased by my dad for my first Mother's Day because I lived in a town where my gym was 30 miles away. So I instead of having to drive 40 minutes to the gym every day, sometimes I could get in a workout at home. So I just did a 10 count and it literally felt great for my neck. Yes, and that's perfect because you did a 10 count. You didn't sit there and hold it like you're Jean-Claude Van Damme in The Fight Club, where he does the splits and he had to overstretch for that for hours and hours and hours a day to get there. We're just going for regular movement to keep that normal range of motion normal. And we've talked about this before, and I've kind of mentioned it in my movement minutes and a couple of other times, but your frequency is going to be more important than your intensity. Um, when we talked about in one of my first videos on this channel, does sitting cause pain? We talked about setting a timer, and I have this timer, y'all. I have this in my Amazon storefront. This has to be my absolute favorite timer. And when I mean it has to be my favorite timer, it is it's the battery's dead. I have to charge it, but um it is literally my absolute favorite timer because I just turn it and it changes the time. So I can set whatever time I want on it and it will work. You go like this to pause it and you go like that to start it. However, I killed the battery because I left it on for too long and the little comes in here and plays with it all the time. But this, remember how we talked about setting that timer and every 45 minutes to an hour getting up and moving? Well, getting up and moving every 45 minutes, an hour for a couple of minutes, or I was talking to Jeffrey, I was talking to you one time about um, every commercial break, standing up from the couch 3 or 4 times. Those little periods, and when I do this, friggin' StreamYard thinks I'm, doing funky stuff and sends balloons and fireworks and things. But when I'm your frequency is always going to be more important than your intensity. 2 minutes throughout every half an hour throughout the entire day is going to be more important than a 1-hour workout once a week. Your burnout responds better to regular, gentle movement than big spikes, sedentary, active. Sedentary, active. I know, but sometimes I like it. I just forget that I have it enabled, so when I'm, like, talking like this and, like, I'm making hand gestures because I talk with my hands, you know. Ah, I've been told that tightening all of your muscles in your body for a 10 count can help. Is that true? There's mixed opinions on that, and I'm not saying that it's not, because isometric work is like me holding onto the wall. No actual movement is occurring, but all my muscles are tight. My issue with that is when I worked in the clinic, whenever someone that was very unfamiliar with exercise in general or had an injury or an illness that they were recovering from, and burnout, it's not an injury or an illness, but it could be considered along those same lines. With that being said, when people tend to tighten their muscles, they tend to hold their breath. So tightening the muscles can be helpful. However, for some people, it causes you to hold your breath. And when you hold your breath, not only is it bad for your muscles because your muscles don't get oxygen, it's bad for just life in general because you know what happens when we stop breathing? You know what happens when we stop breathing. Things get complicated. So, breathing is one of those nervous system calming gestures. So, when you talk about bearing down and tightening all your muscles, some people have used it for progressive relaxation. There are some studies that have shown in the past progressive relaxation, tighten your muscles, then you relax, can help you think of laying on a bed and melting into the bed. You tighten and then you relax. But you have to keep breathing. And if you find yes, right here, it raises your blood pressure. So, appropriate for some people, not appropriate for others. You know, you'll have to pay a late fee for later when I have the funds. Oh, speaking of that, for anybody who does see this who is not a regular viewer of mine or is new to my channels and me, um, I do have what is a Ko-fi account where YouTube and Super Chats. This channel is not monetized. Maybe someday, but right now this channel is not monetized. Where YouTube and Super Chats takes 30%, Ko-fi only takes 5. So did set up a Kofi account where you can support me over there. I did make a blog post. So Kofi, I can make a whole blog post. No, I'm not going to be jingerous. No, I'm not starting a blog. However, that if you want to support me and you see this, I do have a Kofi account. It is in my link tree. You can find it from there. No problem, Gail. I didn't take a nap, but when somebody else was live this afternoon, I was huddled under the covers. Yes, breathing is kind of important, kind of the most important thing, because if you don't breathe, nothing else works. Just a thought, just one of those things. Uh, so I think of, does anyone ever like try to get back into things and just all of a sudden crash out after getting back into it? It's kind of where I find myself right now. Kind of where I find myself. So, rhythmic, predictable movement can help your nervous system settle down. We want to get our nervous system back into that rest and relax, not fight or flight. Rest and relax. So, examples: walking, the repetitive mobility. So, not trying to do 800 things, or, oh, I saw this YouTube video, or I have this app where I have 1,000 stretches. Pick 3 or 4, do 3 or 4, but do them over and over again. So if you know that shoulder stretch that you saw me do earlier, that's one of your favorites, work on that. But also work on the opposite, because a lot of people tend to be super tight here. We call it texting neck, where you're like this, and all of this gets rounded. So try to open that back up. Mm. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Jeffrey. Hold on, Jeffrey. I have something for you. Do 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 do. Mm, mm. There we go. Hey, Common Sense Squid Support Team. Over here, you can call me by my name. Like, uh, over here, you can key point I need to discuss tomorrow, especially after explaining my schedule. Sounds good. I am going to the gym at 8:15 tomorrow. I will be home at like 9:15. I will be showered, but I might be looking a little drowned radish, so don't judge me. Um, yes, Common Sense. Over here, I am known as Heather, and it's okay. It's okay. I don't know it yet. Nice to meet you, Common Sense. I am Heather, Squid's alter ego. The squid when she's not being sassy, you know? Squid when she's being her professional self. It's a little bit more ASMR, a little bit more of my professional side. All right. So another example, slow yoga. We're not going for hatha yoga. We're not trying to go for, we're not trying to go for the power yoga. We're not trying to be like athletes. Nice, gentle, one at a time, slow, gentle movement. Tai Chi is a great one. I still have to reach out to a friend of mine. Oh, and Andrea, thank you for the $15 on Kofi. You are awesome. I appreciate that. And that actually goes straight into my PayPal account, so I don't have to wait a month and a half from YouTube to get that either, which is kind of a yes. Squid, petty. Heather, sweet and helpful. Well, I wouldn't go as far as sweet, but straightforward and helpful. Um, yes, ETM, Heather's drama-free zone. Common Sense, this is what I went to college for. I am a certified occupational therapy assistant. I am a certified lymphedema therapist and a corrective exercise specialist. So, with that being said, over here, we talk about things, how to recover from the stress of life, how to age in place, the research and what the research says in plain language that y'all aren't gonna be reading, um, y'all don't need to go into the NIH website and try to read all that. So, but yes, Jeffrey, I do have um, my timer, and if you put it up, it pauses it. It's great, I love it, but I need to turn it off so that it'll actually charge. This is one thing that um, is in my list. I do have an Amazon storefront that has all the things that I recommend and that I actually use because, like, y'all would be surprised. Like, I recommend like this, actually use it. It's right here. I use it every day. Big ass mouse. Like, yeah. It's Jeffrey's fault. Hey, Jeffrey, did you see your blue? Yes, Heather has no snark and petty than Squid has. However, if you come in my comments and tell me to lose weight, I'm still gonna get petty. Because at the end of the day, can't take away the petty. Um, when someone comes in my comments and thinks that they're gonna be a smart ass, it's like, at least if you're you're gonna be a smart ass, at least spell lose correctly. Just saying. Because you've always supported me and you're telling people everything about my channel and everything like that. So been trying to recover for 8 years. It's life is life takes it out of you. And hey, Captain Kern makes. How are you? And if you didn't know, a friend of the channel, Captain Kern, has started a new channel because people suck. People are awful. Sometimes going viral has negative effects, and it doesn't always work out. So, and hey, stats. Good Sunday vibes. Yes. Good Sunday vibes. Um, and yeah, what a loser. Um, and FYI, and this is just a PSA for anybody who ever wants to start a YouTube channel and just anybody who wants to maintain just a positive mindset in your life. So, when I scheduled this live and when I said it yesterday on my other stream, I got a message and I love this person. So, once again, I am not naming the person who messaged me this. It's just a it's just a thing. Um someone messaged me and said that someone else is live during this time. And if you ever want to start a YouTube channel, and Captain Kern can tell you this. If you ever tried to do a live stream and you go and listen to everybody that says, well, this person streams at this time and this person streams at this time, every time you set up a live stream, your life will be incredibly stressful and you will never ever carve out your own niche and your own personality on YouTube if you constantly listen to everybody else telling you, well, this person so and so streams at this time, or so and so streams at this time. Someone's always going to be live. Um, I love the person who messaged this to me. She's she's not the first person to message it to me, so I'm not mad at her by any means. This has been going on for 2 years. It is just one of those someone's always gonna be live. You just have to do what you do, and people will either catch you on the replay crew or they won't. That is just my words of if you ever wanna start a YouTube channel, stop listening to what other people tell you what works and what doesn't. Um, you do you and try to figure out what works for you. Because honestly, the only people who I love you guys, and we've tried to work out this Sunday time of what works better for everybody. We started Sunday mornings. Sunday nights seem to be a little better. However, with that being said, at the end of the day, the only people's schedules who really matter when it comes to my streaming times are my s my daughter and my spouse. That's it. So, you know, it's just one of those, yes, the fewer will decide who they catch live and some catch both. Exactly. And that is not personal to anybody. That is just, there's always somebody that's going to be live. It's just the way life is. And if it's like starting a business, because it is, if you start a business based on, oh my God, this person's doing this, I can't do it. This person's doing this, I can't do it. You will limit yourself so much, so much. Never limit yourself based or never compare yourself to someone else. And that's kind of this burnout goes into this burnout too, which I thought it was kind of perfect because of the fact that it's like never compare yourself to anybody else. I find myself doing this often in the gym, like, oh my God, look at they're so far ahead of me in this workout. Yeah, well, they didn't just have a baby and they aren't running 2 YouTube channels and they aren't doing this or they aren't doing that. Like, they haven't been running on empty for a month and a half. Like, slow your roll, lady. You'll get there eventually. Um, yeah. You have to take care of yourself and stop comparing yourself to others. It's kind of the perfect with burnout recovery because the only person who you actually need to compare yourself to is yourself. Am I better than I was yesterday? um, oh, all right. The next step we're going to get into is step 4. So, scale movement by your energy levels, not your motivation. You could be the most motivated person on the planet right now, but if you don't have the energy for it, no amount of this is going to give you the energy, no matter what the side of the pre workout says. Um, yeah, be your own cheerleader. Exactly. No matter what the size of somebody's pre workout or the side of someone's pre workout container says, no pre workout is going to give you the energy that your burnout is gonna take away from you. You need to focus on things that will get your energy back, and shoving your body with caffeine is not going to help. Motivation lies during burnout. Energy doesn't. Low energy, walking, mobility. Medium energy, a longer walk, light resistance. Hell, I have a trampoline right there. It's the littles, but I use it too. Because the effects of rebounding are actually pretty good. Pretty good. And then high energy days are not permission to go to the edge of existence and try to do everything that you haven't been able to do in months. Because remember, if you go hard one day, you're going to be feeling it the next day. One good day does not mean your burnout is gone. It's headed in the right direction, but it's not gone. And then pairing movement with breathing. Remember we talked about that breathing? Devil fan, remember we talked about that breathing being extremely important for life? Well, breath is how movement becomes recovery instead of stress. So a simple cue, inhale as you prepare, and then exhale as you move. So I'm preparing to do it. Say I'm doing something as simple as a bicep curl. We're going to use this because I don't have a weight with me, but I'm here. Inhale and then exhale on exertion. Exactly. It's make sure you are breathing in and out complete breaths. Don't do this hyperventilating stuff because when you hyperventilate, you're not getting more breaths are not always better. More is not better in this case. More means shallower breaths, which means you're not expelling the carbon dioxide or the carbon dioxide you need to. You're not getting the good oxygen because there's nowhere for that good oxygen to go because you didn't get rid of the old air. Sorry, I can hear the little laugh in the background. Yes, super oxygenation can make you pass out. However, while that may be true, think of it as this way: if you don't, it's like it's like trying to put more stuff in your freezer without emptying it out first. It's just gonna have more and more stuff in it that's not gonna be good quality, freezer burned, all that stuff, because you didn't take a nice time to empty it out. Get rid of all that air. If you get rid of all that air, and I'm not laughing at the breathing, I'm laughing at this comment. Uh, right here, no oxygenation. Yeah. Oxygen is really good for the muscles and really good for the brain. I'm just saying, oxygen is really good for the muscles, but really, really, really good for the brain. So I asked someone to stop sending me, to tell their husband to stop sending me black lab videos, telling me that the little needs a puppy. Well, four, I just got like 3 or 4 um, videos in a row that says not a lab, basset hound. This isn't a lab either, bloodhound. I swear this is the best community. But think about it. Think about breathing in this way. If your breathing is rushed, your nervous system is rushed. That's why one of the big pillars of yoga is focusing on the breath. They call it something, and um it's a term, and I can see it, and I just can't say it because it's not a language that I'm familiar with. um but it's Sanskrit. Sanskrit. But yeah, I have a beagle hound. Choose wisely. Yeah. I had to laugh because I know lots of people that must be lacking oxygen. Yeah. You know, just a just a thought. So, resting after movement. Remember, recovering, you can recover from your own. Thank you, Captain Kern, for sending me what looks like a mastiff or something. It says not a lab. Ask Spawn, he speaks Sanskrit. Yeah. Uh, but one of the pillars in yoga is breathing, because yoga is really good for the nervous system. If you talk to somebody who's a yogi, who not just practices yoga for fitness, but who knows the history and the theory and all of the stuff that goes into yoga. Great Dane. Sorry, I just took a quick look at it. Okay, so cat pictures and not a dog. Oh, speak of the devil and he shall arrive. uh, all right. So our last pillar that we're going to talk about is rest after movement. Movement doesn't replace rest. It helps your body rest better. Examples of resting after movement: sit quietly, drink your water, which we talked about last time, because drinking water is going to be a pillar of every single aspect of recovering from burnout. Because if you do not drink your water, and I say that with mine being right here, if you do not drink your water, nothing else is going to go well. Water helps regulate every system in your body. Also, it helps with hunger and cravings, because a lot of the times when you're quote unquote hungry, you're really just thirsty. Oh, yes. I have been working on that. And surprisingly, I've been drinking less caffeine. I've been drinking more caffeine because more of a habit than oh my God, I need caffeine to survive this morning. because I've been reaching for my water first. And then I'll realize that it'll be like an hour or two before I've had caffeine in the morning. It's like, whoa, what's happening here? What is happening here? Oh, all right. And then let your body just settle. Sometimes no movement is okay. When you had a hard day, like, I don't know, doing wall walks and wall balls and a 2,000-meter row between you and your partner and dumbbell deadlifts with 35-pound dumbbells like a dum dum. That would be me, you know? Oh, it's okay to let your body have some time to relax. When you do feel the need and you have the energy to go hard in the gym, you don't need to go hard every day. Just because the workout that might be written for that next day, you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill that. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna go. And then you're like, no, I don't need to. So tomorrow's workout is a 1,929-meter row before you do anything else into 100 box jumps, 90 alternating dumbbell snatches, 80 sit-ups, 70 wall balls, 60 ring rows or pull-ups, 50 dumbbell hang cleans, 40 handstand push-ups or tripod push-ups, 30 regular push-ups, 20 wall walks, and 10 devil's presses. Every 2 minutes, you and your partner will complete 5 synchronized burpees. Wow, that's gonna suck. So, even in a workout like that, if I'm feeling exhausted, slow down. You don't have to go 100 miles an hour all the time. Even when your body and your brain is like, I want to go, it's not exactly the way to go all the time. AKA Squid, remind me to shout you out at a high level of volume. Oh no. Uh, uh, all right. So, high. Let's think about this and what we can take away. So, kind of our final thoughts for tonight. If movement makes you feel worse afterward, that doesn't mean you're broken. Means the movement that you were doing doesn't match your current capacity. You could have the strength to do that movement when you're not burned out. However, your energy level might be lacking. I'm listening to the little, you can hear them laughing in the background. Oh my God, burpees. Screw that. I'm not back in the police academy. I think that's a partner workout. So that's together. And I have my partner already. So, with that being said, take it easier on yourself. Sometimes a walk is the greatest thing you can do. If that walk is like, okay, this is too easy, make it a faster walk. Don't run, but instead of a leisurely walk, act like you're a mall walker from like 1990. You know, the people who, walk around the mall. Hello. So, next week, we are going to be talking about your environment. Because if your environment fights you, it doesn't matter how well you try to recover from last week or how well you move. Your environment is going to suck the life out of you. Just saying. Just saying. Burpees are the thing you buy for your shoulder when you have a newborn, isn't it? Also known as expensive towel. A burp cloth. What's a mall? The thing from like the early night. We still have them. They're just after COVID, they're not really there. That's a point you need to discuss because my mother believes it can see more. It could do more than my body can handle. And we'll get into it. We have some time tomorrow morning. So next week we're gonna focus on reducing the friction so you don't need willpower to heal. Right? We have to figure out how to acknowledge that people that give it through Ko-fi or Kofi. Um, They I every time I see the notification, I actually have notifications set up now, so I can actually see when people do. However, I Kofi is actually nice because I can go and leave a comment um, on their donation or their tip. Because once again, it's not a donation, it's income. I have to pay taxes on it. I hate using that word donation because whenever I think donation, I think a certain, you know. So any type of training is a battle between effort and mental willpower to overcome the hurdle that says you can't do more. That's where the real fight begins. Yeah, and sometimes when your brain is like, I can do more, sometimes your nervous system is like, no, no. And that's where it's kind of you need to not fight yourself. And that's kind of where sometimes when you're burned out, it's not just a willpower thing. Mm. But we're going to wrap it up. It's been about 45 minutes. That's where I like to keep these things. If tonight felt at all validating for you, save this, come back to it, share it out. Please hit the like button, subscribe, consider subscribing, and consider sharing this out to anybody who might need this because this is Squid's alter ego, also known as Heather. I love this channel. This is my passion project. There will be more content coming to this channel when your girl isn't burned out herself. So, y'all have a great night. Unfortunately, on this channel, I can't redirect to anybody, but I know where most of y'all are going. Y'all have a great night, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.